Is this on? All right. We've got 6 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order and declare we have a quorum.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the regular meetings, of the Board of City Commissioners and the Sallisaw Municipal Authority. These meetings are conducted in accordance with the Oklahoma Open Meeting Act. While these meetings are open to the public, they are business meetings of the governing bodies and are conducted according to the published agendas. Meeting notices and agendas are posted as required by the Oklahoma Open Meeting Act. Public comments are accepted only when authorized by the agenda, and interested parties sign up prior to speaking to the meeting. Sign up to speak prior to the meeting or are recognized by the presiding officer. Citizens are encouraged to contact their ward commissioners, the mayor, or the city manager with input, questions, or concerns outside of the meetings. When public comments are permitted, speakers are asked to remain courteous and address the topic under consideration. Disruptive conduct may result in warnings and/or possible removal from the meeting.
All right, we'll move on to item 2 and declare we have a quorum. And move on to item 3, Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll move on to item 4, discussion and possible action on any removal of items from the consent agenda. Anybody have anything? Nope. All right, item 5, consent agenda.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Mendiola,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bailey.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Move on to item 6, discussion and possible, whoops, we don't need that one, do we? Item 7, presentation of the certificate of commendation to Mr. Kyle Day.
So, Mr. Day, if you'd come up, meet the mayor over in front of the fancy stand there.
Picture that.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to do the first City of Sallisaw Public Service Recognition Award. On June 16th, Kyle Day started a fundraiser to replace Janessa Cook's moped, her only transportation to and from work and school. It had been vandalized and damaged. Inside of a few days, the community responded by raising around $1,300. However, when Troy Horn of Harry Robinson Ford reached out, the vision grew to what else could we do to help her out. Several days later, Kyle and the team at Harry Robinson presented Janessa with a 2019 Nissan Altima, free and clear, registered and ready to go. People across this community came together and stepped up, but the end result wouldn't have happened without the initiative and involvement of Kyle. It is for this willingness to step up, lead, and put in the work to actually see it through that he is recommended for a City of Sallisaw Certificate of Commendation. Kyle recognized a wrong, developed a solution, and saw it through to completion. The impact to not only Janessa and her future, but also to the entire community due to Kyle's efforts greatly reflect great credit upon him, his family, and the City of Sallisaw.
I'll go ahead and read this. Certificate of commendation and recognition of his initiative and dedication to righting a wrong. This certificate of commendation is presented to Kyle Day. His actions impacted not only the young girl's future, but also the entire community. His efforts reflect great credit upon himself, his family, and the City of Sallisaw.
And if we could we get, could we get your family? If they're interested in coming up, if they're interested, and then the folks from Harry Robinson, come on up, get a picture.
You got him.
Because I don't see Janessa. Folks, I'll let them take one. I think a family get up here first. Don't rush. You're fine. You're fine. Oh, you think it? Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget the important one. Okay, she got it. Hey, sir, at this time, I'd like to thank you personally. Thank you very much. Shining representation of what it all said is seeing the need and addressing it. So, but greatly appreciate it. Sir, you want to say anything?
I ain't very much to say. I mean, like help will be done.
That's awesome. Thank you, sir. Got a little.
Brian, put your swag bag. Poncho's mad because he didn't get one.
Also, thank you.
Yep, I'll do that.
All right. We will move on to item 8, discussion and possible action on the comprehensive master plan document prepared by Olson.
So, gentlemen, without as she works her way up here, just want to thank Shelby and all the entire team, as she'll tell you, for the comprehensive master plan. You'll hear this a couple times tonight. This is a guide. This is not law. This is not code. This is a general direction that we believe the city wants to move in. Long-term view of this, we're going to touch this at least once a year. I don't know if it involves a committee. I don't know what that looks like, but probably sometime this fall we're going to meet and figure out what we want to do for the next fiscal year in accordance with this. Touch it. It's a living document. Shelby will tell you it's a living document. We want to touch it and say, that was so last year, we don't want to do that anymore. Or, hey, in addition to that, we want to do these 3 or 4 different things. What else am I missing? We have gone out of our way to make sure that everyone who wanted to had an opportunity to provide input to this. And you'll hear a couple of details, and Shelby will break down exactly what we've done and what we did over the last year to get input from, again, as many people as possible to provide input to this, meet them where they are, and without any further ado, she is not going to go over all 209 pages, but we'll touch at least 200 of them tonight. Go ahead.
Yeah, as many of them as I can, as quickly as possible. So I appreciate you all allowing me to come and speak with you this evening. Again, my name's Shelby Ferguson, as Brian said, project manager for this comprehensive master plan effort, as well as lead planner within Olson. And so just want to give you a quick overview. Will hopefully not take too much of your time, but I also, because this has been a year-long effort, I don't want to just skim over it quickly and not hit the highlights at all. So just real quick up there, those are some familiar faces you probably recall from seeing at public events, as well as many of our meetings and just throughout our calls. But those are only a few of the individuals who really touched this plan and worked. But those are the ones who really came into the community with me, spoke with members of the public, spoke with yourselves, elected officials, planning commission, and our stakeholder committee as well. So with that, we also had Eric Lander on our team. He's with Canyon Research Southwest. And so he provided the market, economic and market analysis that's within the document as well. And so just really want to highlight, I won't go through every name on here, but and they're within the plan, but just really acknowledging all of those key stakeholders that were on the stakeholder committee, the technical committee, as well as city council, planning commission members, and our core project team. Without those individuals and their ongoing commitment throughout the last year, in addition to the public, again, like Brian said, this wouldn't have been possible just because all of those people involved have provided input into this plan document. I'm not sure why that's cut off a little bit, but either way, so just kind of highlight some of our engagement and our approach. Here we had a public or a project website that was launched in September of last year. That's been our landing place for everything and related to the project, related to the plan, how to get involved, pushing people there and information as well. We also promoted any events and pieces of the project and planning process through social media and marketing. So that was through Sallisaw City website as well as Facebook. Also, we did several touch points with stakeholder individuals, so held stakeholder interviews and department interviews really at the beginning of the process to get an understanding of Sallisaw as we started to dive in and really understand your community. We also had a community questionnaire that was live starting in August, and then we took it down, did some preliminary results, and then we put it back up with those results, allowing people to then comment and take part in the questionnaire again. So that ran until December of last year. We also had touch points with our stakeholder committee at a visioning workshop, which then opened up to the public as well to provide input. We came out twice for pop-up events. We were at Falls Festival as well as the homecoming football game, where if you stopped by our booth, you got to participate in several different little activities, just a jar voting activity, as well as just talking to us and really giving us insight to Sallisaw and the future of it. We then held a design workshop and public open houses with our stakeholder and technical committee. That was a 2-day effort that we were here. That's really where things started to come to life. We took everything that we were hearing during the engagement phase and really started to put together recommendations, frameworks, those land use and transportation frameworks that you see in the plan. That's where those are really started to come to life. And then we put that out for virtual and a public open house to gather feedback on the preliminary recommendations that you now see that were refined later on and put into the final plan document. We also then brought back all of the final recommendations for a leadership work session, not only with elected officials and planning commission, but as well as our stakeholder groups. So that's where we started to say, are we seeing and are we representing what we've heard? Are we showing the right things? Or is this the direction and the vision of Sallisaw for the next 10 years? And that was our last session before we finalized the document and then brought us to this point. So just real high level, the engagement that we've done over the last year. That really leads us to what we've heard. And so what we really started to see as top priorities for Sallisaw through the engagement was there's a strong desire to attract new businesses and employers. And within that, industrial jobs was a very high key priority within there, but also higher wage earning jobs, as well as that there should be a mix of housing to support that job growth. Another thing that we started to really hear a lot of was that there's a need for core infrastructure and walkability within Sallisaw. So repairing broken pavement, filling in sidewalk gaps, really starting to try to connect Sallisaw so that those who do not have a vehicle are able to commute or connect within the community safely. And then the last thing that we really heard a lot about was housing and wanting a more diverse housing mix, not only in terms of the types of housing, but as well as the price ranges. Starting to look at variations in single family residential and also having more attainable, diverse types of housing. And so what that did is we started to go to the plan document itself. And so this is just a really high level of what's in the plan. I know you all have it before you and have looked at it, but especially for those of you behind me, just to understand really how this document's going to guide Sallisaw over the next 10 to 15 years. And so it's outlined with core frameworks that are focused on future land use, strategic growth, transportation and mobility, placemaking, downtown growth strategy, and then it really has a section within each of those where we start to highlight the priorities, the big ideas, what are we taking away from it? And then there's a final section that's section 7, which is the implementation, the action chapter. And so that really outlines how do you start to move each of those outlines or those frameworks forward from section 3 through 6 of the plan. And so each of those really starts to identify the strategy behind each of the goals and giving you very specific measures, specific actions that you can tick off to achieve the vision for Sallisaw. And so Within the document in section 2, there's the vision and value section. I won't read this verbatim, but really it's looking to your future. There's a vision statement. And so really it starts to look at how do you preserve the character that you have now in Sallisaw, your current built identity, as well as the culture, your history. But then how do you move forward to a welcoming environment, vibrant community that's connected? And so the values here were to really focus in on that local enterprise. What's your economic development? Again, providing attainable and diverse housing mixture, while also connecting and providing your members of your community a safe and healthy and connected quality of life. And doing that all through providing a sense of pride within your community with placemaking. And so the core frameworks here, really the future land use map. This is a very key component to this plan. And so that what this does is it starts to outline the highest and best uses as you start to look at land uses within your community. This, while it may look like a zoning map, I do want to preface, while it does look similar in terms of coloring to a zoning map, this is not zoning. So this does not change your property rights. This does not change the specific zoning of the parcel in which you own. It is truly a guide. So, and it's used by city council, by the planning commission as applications and as development come through that staff is looking at, they can look at a specific parcel or specific area and say, what should be in this area? Should it be residential? Should it be single family residential? Should it be industrial? Should it be commercial? And so each of those colors represent a specific land use. And based on our economic and market analysis, as well as our best practices in planning, we've identified what those areas should and could be. But again, this is a guide for you as you look at those development and redevelopment options as Sallisaw continues to move forward and grow. So then we look at the strategic growth framework. Again, this comes from our economic and market analysis as well. Eric started to help us understand what areas truly are prime for picking for redevelopment, and then what type of redevelopment or development, whether it's a greenfield space or it's already currently has development on it. As those become available, what could and should they be as well? So that's what this framework does. Each of these frameworks have a section within the plan as well that identify goals, strategies as well, so that you understand how to move these frameworks forward. Then we have section 4, which is the transportation and mobility framework. This really starts to look at making connections, extensions, roadways that need to be either put in place or improved, really looking at future developments and how do you connect those to existing infrastructure, and just making sure that everyone is able to not only use a vehicular means of transportation throughout the community, but as well as trails, walking, etc. So that truly all members of your community are connected. And then the last framework is in section 5. This is looking at placemaking. So really starting to identify key areas within Sallisaw. You already have some great monumentation, welcome to Sallisaw areas, but how do you start to enhance those? How do you make them more prominent? Areas that you don't have that type of signage, how do you place those monuments? How do you have those gateways, and especially looking at the downtown area, and then those key areas where you come in off the highway, making sure that those areas create a sense of place, as well as then focusing on key corridors that can have streetscaping, benches, types of items that really start to bring a sense of place, make people want to gather. And so that's what this framework specifically does. Then for the last section of the plan, in section 5, we focused in on the downtown. This is not something that traditionally you'll find in a comprehensive master plan all the time, but we really heard a lot about the great things that were going on in downtown Sallisaw, and really wanted to continue to give you a strategy to move those pieces forward. So we looked at the more core area of the downtown and the streets and the public spaces, and really started to identify what areas were prominent and needed for either facade improvements. Some of your streets have great facades and also placemaking going on them. Others lacked a little bit. And so what areas are most priority in terms of that gateway monuments or the placemaking pieces? And then really focusing in on what just how do you make and revitalize and continue to revitalize your downtown area. So with that, I'll just say next steps truly would be to bring it to you all. So I was here last week and spoke with Planning Commission. We presented the similar presentation and they recommended approval of the plan document as is and to bring it to you all for final acceptance and adoption so that staff may be able to start using this document, moving it forward. As Brian said, it's truly a guide and something that will be revisited annually. But right now, it truly sets the vision for Sallisaw over the next 10 years. And so with that, I would open it up for any questions that you may have and then just next steps.
I think I really have anything. Yeah, so if you all choose to adopt this, again, what we'll do is we'll dig in this fall, over the summer and this fall, and come up with lines of effort, come up with, it is cohesive, but come up with a methodology of getting after some of the goals and the action plans that are in section 7 of the correct, of the plan. And then a way to, again, touch that every year, at least once, if not twice, going into budgeting, look at what we've done, hey, and then validate the plan. Do we want to continue to do this? Do we want to continue down this road? Hey, last year at this time, we thought this was going to be a priority. This year, something else has either come up, a new idea has been given, or a new gap, if you will, has been identified. We want to get after that first. So we can touch all of that, use this as a guide. What we don't want to do is put this on the shelf, pat ourselves on the back. The other thing we want to use this plan for, especially the economic development portion of this, is to, now that we have a set, a point of demarcation, if you will, a snapshot of where we are and where a third professional party thinks we are, and go out and say, these are the kinds of industry, these are the kinds of businesses we want to go to. Hey, I want to go to the Acme widget making folks and say, here's my demand. I've got, this isn't just me saying it, this is a third party saying it, that I've got a demand for, let's say, office space, and say, hey, look, you want office space? I have office space, or I need you to develop office space. Here it is, and this is pretty much the part of town we want to put you in. What are your questions? And then go out and use this as either getting our foot in the door, or using this as, again, a third party validating what we think as staff actually is accurate. And there are places in there where we didn't get it right. One of the biggest things that come out of this is a recommendation to keep the airport where it is. That may change in 10 or 15 years. But right now, the recommendation is to keep it where it is, just based off of cost by itself. So that is a huge one as we look at building significant or coming into a window to use significant FAA money that says, hey, where Uncle Sam builds it, it stays unless you buy them out. So to avoid wasting that money, hey, we leave it where it is for a little while and look at it. So again, a guide, and we will develop a map to get there based off of this.
Yeah, I just also, Brian, I should mention, to your point, that third party, the economic development or economic and market analysis report, that's part of the appendices. So you get that full entire document, every little piece that says how many square footage, how many units per acre, all of that, and those locations. So that's part of that appendices. So to Brian's point, when he says all 200 some pages of it, the plan document itself truly is about maybe 100 pages, I believe. But then we have supplied all of our basis, our existing conditions, that analysis from the market, as well as everything that we heard in engagement. So every post-it, every comment that we heard throughout our engagement is in Appendix B of our engagement summary. So that's what makes that plan document pretty lengthy. So when you look at the size of it, if you print it off, don't be scared of it. The true meat of that plan is sections 1 through 7, which is about 100 pages. So just FYI.
George, did I miss anything?
No, our pledge to this our pledge to this council initially was for it not to be a document that sits on the shelf. If you read in there several times, it mentions that it's a living document. That's the whole purpose of a bottom-up approach with us gathering information from our citizens, from our constituents. We truly wanted to engage. That's why we did it so many different ways. And so, our pledge is to continue to make this thing relevant, keep it relevant with a good revamp, 5 years, and Shelby mentioned a total revamp, 10 years. So we always want it to be relevant. We always want to be purposeful. And like you said, Brian, it's a demarcation of where we're at, where we want to be. How do we get there? Those things may change over time, over year after year, but we've got a starting place. So I'm just thankful for Olson and council's allowing us to get this way.
So gentlemen, what we're looking for from you all tonight is a vote to adopt the comprehensive master plan as designed and provided by Olson.
Is this online for, like, on our website? Will it be on our website, or will people
Yes.
can look at it?
Yeah, so if they wanted to look at it now, it's on the agenda, part of the agenda now. If adopted, we would post it to the website, and then any subsequent additional information, any products that we produce, getting us from point A to point B will also be available online.
Is the website with, that Olson created, is that still up and?
Yes, it's still available
Okay.
and live, and that's something that we can either then continue and pass off to you if that's a desire to keep that branded website. Or if you want, we'll just let that expire, and then take it down.
I had the opportunity to attend some of the meetings and things, and, there was a lot of people there, a lot of different takes and perspectives, and, back, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, we did more of a land use, didn't get this in depth by any means, but, like Brian and George both mentioned, it's a living and breathing document that, we're gonna update over the years, and makes a lot of sense.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Motion made by Commissioner Mendiola,
Second.
seconded by, who was that? Was that Josh or?
Brad.
Oh, Brad.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. All right, move on to item 9, discussion and possible action on airport lease agreement between Isaac J. Rodriguez and the city of Sallisaw for the lease of an airport hangar.
So gentlemen, George, is this the new lease?
Yes.
Yes, this is a new lease. It's not transferred or anything else, but this is a new lease. That's why it's coming to you all for approval.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Hamilton to approve,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bailey.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Item 10, discussion and possible action on appointment of a city of Sallisaw representative to the, to the Eastern Oklahoma Development District Board of Directors for an unexpired 3-year term, expiring in June 30th of 2028.
So gentlemen, with Commissioner Moody resigning, this position is now, the representative position is now open. And it has to be an elected member on the EODD.
Does anybody have an interest in serving on that?
I've already served on it, and then Moody took my spot. But I think I left, but I'm going to drive a bus this year, so I won't be able to.
I can do
So
Do it. All right.
Has to be an elected person.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Now, the alternative can be selected.
We'll talk about that here in a little bit.
But the primary has to be an elected official.
Okay.
Okay.
I think
Josh
when I
is,
did it, I think it was originally Ernie did it and then I was secondary and just, I took over, so.
On the, who's the alternate currently?
Josh.
I think I was the alternate, yes.
Okay, so Joshua moved from the alternate to the appointed. Does anybody have an interest in the alternate?
Usually the new mayor gets it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can do that. I don't mind doing that.
Until we fill a seat, then we'll look at it down the road.
Okay. All right. So Josh, is that a motion that you made to, that you'll take that?
Do you need a motion on that?
Do
or
we need a
just-
motion on this? Yeah.
Make a motion.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Bailey to make Josh the appointed representative and I will become the alternate representative. We have a second.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Mendiola.
Bailey,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Item 11, discussion and possible action on the City of Sallisaw Administrative Policy 1.021.00, document retention and disposal policy.
Gentlemen, while we've always maintained documents in accordance with state law, we have never had our own policy. So where the state law does not dictate something, i.e. an email confirming a calendar invite, that is kept right now in perpetuity. So this policy will guide things like that, allowing them to be deleted, allowing us to clean out some of our files that we have been keeping for a very long time. Personnel records we have kept for decades, that are not required to be kept for decades.
Jordan, are you good with this?
I reviewed everything. If anything, we're more strict than what we're required to do by the state. But there's timeframes that you have to keep certain categories of records for certain timeframes. We're within that range of what the state requires. On all sections.
I make a motion to approve City of Sallisaw Administrative Policy 1.02100.
Motion made by Commissioner Bailey,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Hamilton.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Move on to item 12, discussion and possible action on renewal of agreement for impoundment of animals with the town of Gans.
So as you all may or may not know, Gans does not have its own animal shelter. So when they impound an animal, they bring them to us for the mandatory 72-hour hold. And then at the end of that 72-hour hold, it is up to us as far as, when I say us, the animal shelter, as far as the disposition of that animal. And this is just a renewal of that agreement that allows them to, one, they pay us a fee per animal and then allows us to dispose of the animals. And when I say dispose, it's the disposition of the animal, whether that's adoption, whether we move that animal into a rescue, or unfortunately there are those circumstances where we need to destroy the animal.
Well, I know that ours is full majority of the time. So is this gonna put us in a bind to where we're not gonna be able to take care of our city? I mean, like, did they
No,
bring us
th-
a lot or?
this is- And I'll lean on Keith for this. This does not get exercised very often.
Here lately, we've been moving a lot around. We've actually got new contacts where we're actually moving around for other shelters that have higher needs for adoption. So right now, this one on my and they don't have a great number of dogs, it's just a few a month. They actually, they've been moving them, so it's not a big number.
All right, we have a
Brad, you
motion?
good? He was reading it.
You got any questions, Brett?
No,
No.
I'm good.
You good? All right. I'll make a motion to approve the agreement of impoundment for animals with the town of Gans.
Motion made by Commissioner Mendiola,
I'll second.
seconded by Commissioner Hamilton.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Item 13, discussion and possible action on the transfer of the properties located at 415 West Creek and 304 East Iola from Sequoia County, and authorize the mayor to sign necessary documents when they become available.
Gentlemen, these are two properties that otherwise would have gone to tax sale. However, our lien is more than the county's lien and more than more than the properties are worth. So the county would just like to deed them to us. These have then become our properties and to do with as we see fit. And when I say we, y'all.
The warranty.
So, and for both of them, yeah.
Jordan, you good with this? Yeah. Make a motion, we accept the properties located at 415 West Creek Avenue and 304 East Iola Street from Sequoia County.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Mendiola and seconded by Commissioner Bailey.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Item 14, discussion on possible action on purchase order 109329 issued to VIP Technology Solutions Group of Broken Arrow in the amount of $24,814.50 for the Verkada network camera access and licensing renewals.
So it is just what it says. It's as far as a license renewal for each item that we have from Verkada, as well as the software access to the system. Did I miss anything?
It includes access control as well.
Yeah, so the key fob things and the electronic locks on the doors.
So this is for City Hall.
Oh, it's across the city. So
Okay.
the cameras that are up at the pool, it's across the city.
There's there's a lot of cameras.
Yeah, police department
Yeah.
as well.
I make a motion to approve purchase order number 109-328-9 in the amount of $24,814.50.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Bailey,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Hamilton.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Item 15, discussion and possible action on purchase order 109364 issued to Piney Mountain Industrial of Waldron, Arkansas in the amount of $26,000 for the recondition of the underpass pumps on West Cherokee Avenue over there by Casey's.
Yes, sir. So as you know, water pools in that low spot underneath the railroad tracks, and that is actually pumped out and up into the ditch that is just south of Cherokee, that goes down into Casey's, goes down into the ditch in front of Casey's. These have, the primaries burn up last week. The second set that we had are in there now, and we are one lightning strike away from not pumping water anymore. So this is a unforecasted request. We would take this out of the capital contingency if you all approve it.
Didn't we just replace those a few years back?
Yeah, they replaced it with all sand and stuff that gets down there off the state's highway. Piece the impellers up.
So that's the other part of this, is we need to take a long look at this and figure out how to increase the lifespan of these
Yeah,
things. If
so
that's,
they hadn't been just a few years, I thought.
Yeah. if it's additional filters, the challenge with these things is they're made to be putting water submerged, thank you, but they're not made to submerge in sand. So we've got to figure out how to allow those things to pump and to receive the flow without, but somehow filtering out the sand and debris.
I make a motion to approve purchase order number 109364 issued to Piney Mountain Industrial in the amount of $26,000.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Bailey,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Hamilton.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Item 16, discussion and possible action on purchase order 109382 issued to IPS LLC of Sallisaw, Oklahoma in the amount of $21,257.56 for installation of awning with racks for the water sewer department.
So gentlemen, this does two things. One, it replaces the awning that was damaged in the snowstorm over the winter, and it also allows us to purchase the racks that the water department needs. As you were briefed during budget, as the electric department finishes its move out, we're moving everybody down, and the water department needs these racks to make that space their own and functional for them. Again, this was approved as part of the budget.
What's the time frame on it? How long were they up?
That I don't know. I don't have that for you
Okay.
as far as what the lead time is.
Yeah.
But he's asking for it because he's ready to spend the money on it and start having the work done. Building the racks are actually moving. Yeah.
Make a motion to approve purchase order number 109382 in the amount of 21,227, $257.56.
Motion made by Commissioner Mendiola,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bailey.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Item 17, discussion and possible action on ordinance number 2016-12 and ordinance repealing section 66-9 of chapter 66, Article 1 of the Sallisaw Code of Ordinances, and substituting therefore the following new section 66-9 in chapter 26, Article 1 to the Sallisaw Code of Ordinances regarding fireworks.
So having the fireworks on the 5th identified a hole in our swing, so to speak. Our current ordinance limits the use of fireworks from the 1st to the 4th. It does not, excuse me, so what this will do will allow us to do it from the 1st through the 4th, plus any contiguous weekend, which means that the 4th falls on a Friday, the 5th and 6th will also be able to fire fireworks. What that does is not only allows the city flexibility like we saw over this past year to move its celebration, but it also allows folks to celebrate separate from the city within the city. It also moves the exception authority from the fire chief, which is where it was, to the city manager in consultation with the fire chief. It put a lot of responsibility on the fire chief, looking just at wind and dryness conditions, basically. The last thing it does is it adds a fine amount to the violations. The only fine we had on record that was related to fireworks was in the juvenile section of our code. So this makes it unlawful and the police can enforce that, and it identifies a fine associated with lighting fireworks outside of those restricted areas or the restricted time. The new state law allows for counties, if you want to go out in the county and set off fireworks anytime you want to, that is perfectly okay. The new state law does not apply to cities in as much as cities can make more restrictive conditions, which is what we're continuing to do. You can also sell fireworks 24/7, 365. That doesn't apply to this. We don't have we do have a restriction on sales, but I believe we lifted that as part of this ordinance. I believe it's just the discharge of fireworks that we limit from the 1st to the 4th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
In the permitting deal, you'd mentioned the city show. Permitting shows can still happen no matter what if they're properly permitted.
So if we operate outside of this window, yes, with the council's approval. So if for whatever reason we wanted to shoot on the 7th, it would be a pre-planned thing and the council would have to approve that based off of this change.
So any show, like say somebody else wants to have a show that meets all the other requirements, still has to come before the council?
The fact that they want to do it, yes. If it happens outside of that window, from the 1st to the 4th, or the contiguous weekend, so the theoretically at worst the 5th and 6th, then yes, that show would have to come in front of council.
Don't think we worded it that way.
Yeah, I don't recall that either.
Did it just with you and fire chief?
Yeah.
Oh, the
that's-
exceptions. I'm sorry. Yes.
That's what I
I'm
was
sorry.
thinking too. That's
Yes.
why I wanted to clarify
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. No, I apologize.
That hasn't, I mean, I don't recall that happening within the city limits. I know the county has had private shows.
Yeah.
But,
And there may
I
be,
don't know.
I think we ran into it. There was a request or two, if I'm not mistaken, for graduation. For graduation parties, there was a request or two that floated around last year. But again, that's in consultation with the fire chief to make sure we're not authorizing something that's unsafe during dry conditions or the red flag days.
makes sense.
Good. Make a motion to approve changes ordinance number 2016-12.
Motion made by Commissioner Hamilton to approve,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bailey.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Item 18, discussion and possible action on Planning Commission case number PC 2026-005, plat of survey presentation for Jerry and Angela Powell.
This plat was one that we had a little difficulty with. We did consult with Jordan on this one. This particular plat contained, an unplatted road in it. And instead of taking an additional 10 feet of property from the individuals, we consulted with Jordan on whether this could be an existing type non-conforming use, to where we didn't have to put that requirement on them. In doing so, I can't remember what Jordan called it, but the fact that the road has existed for,
It's grandfather.
it's basically grandfathered in, yes. Because the road it's 40 feet wide, standard roads are 50 feet. Therefore, we can not apply this to it just due to the grandfather statutes of the state of Oklahoma. So therefore, with his recommendation and council's, or planning commission's recommendation, we recommend that we move this forward and allow them to plat the lots as they have presented them to us, which does not include any additional right-of-ways for the street.
Is this the house that's on the corner?
Yes.
Yes, this is the house that's
There's
on
a
the
house
corner.
already there, right?
There's a house that's already there. They're gonna demolish that house and build a brand new one.
Okay.
But in order to get the permit they couldn't get the permit under current conditions because the road was non-conforming.
I
And
got
we
you.
hadn't accepted that road as a city,
Okay.
but this does.
So basically just gonna tear that one down and rebuild a new one.
Correct.
Okay.
And I know it's been a long time in coming.
I think this is Brad's ward.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Just double checking the minutes. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve, planning commission case number PC 2026-005.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Hamilton to approve,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bailey.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Item 19, discussion and possible action on Planning Commission case PC 2026-006, plat presentation of Apache Edition for Big Mountain Investments, Inc.
This plat is in the exact same area. It's just up the street. This individual, though, wants to build a set of duplexes. The property is already zoned R2. So we've run into the same situation with this as well. But after review with the city attorney and planning commission, we still recommend on this one that we accept the plat as is, with just platting the lots.
Where's it at? South or?
It is south of the lot that's on the corner. There will be, I think, one house in between the Powell property, and then the next two lots will be this one.
Okay.
Those are vacant right now, are they not?
Yes, one of them is vacant. I believe they have an old house that they've been slowly tearing down and should be just about done.
Good. I'll make a motion, we approve planning commission case number PC 2026-006.
Motion made by Commissioner Hamilton to approve,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bailey.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Able.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Keith.
Thank you.
On to item 20, possible action on acceptance of resignation of Ward 1 Commissioner Kenny Moody and discussion and possible direction on procedure for filing the unexpired term.
So gentlemen, Kenny has been selected to be the Chamber of Commerce Commissioner, or excuse me, the Chamber of Commerce Executive Director. As such, he can no longer serve as a commissioner, so he has tendered his resignation. What we're looking for from you all is, one, acceptance of his resignation, and then two, exactly how you want to go about selecting his replacement. Charter says that you all select the replacement for the remainder of his term, which would be through
28
28, thank you, with you.
with
Yeah.
me.
So whoever is selected would serve through 28 and then have to run again in 28.
Well, you'd file on 27 and then.
Yes, file on December 27, I'm
December
sorry, and then
27.
the elections in
28.
28. So what the process would be is anybody that's interested, throw your name in the hat, talk with Kim, or myself, send us an email, send us your information, and we'll throw your name in the hat. What has been done in the past is then you all, either at the normal meeting or at a special meeting, have those individuals come in and say a few words, you all talk and discuss, and then we would vote on this in August, at the August meeting. But we'd like to fill the seat by August if that's acceptable to you all. But that's really what we're looking for, is how exactly you all want to do it this time to make your selection.
I think, I mean, personally, after the last, whenever Ronnie left, I mean, I would suggest that we have a special meeting, say August 3rd. I know Planning Commission's on the 4th, I believe. Sometime that week, however many people come, they just come in and give us give us a little comment speech why they want to do it. And then that'll give us, half a week. If we do it on Monday, then that'll give us a week to think about it and make a decision for.
I agree with
Monday.
that. I think we've kind of heard, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 names so far. So,
Yeah.
I think that would make sense.
I think that's the way I would suggest doing it. And I mean, we can do it earlier than that. I mean, I'm just saying the week before is fine or whenever.
I agree. I didn't like how we did it last time where we had to pick somebody on the spot right then.
Yeah.
I want any time to think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would rather that special meeting be a little before that. I mean, when we hear the presentations, I thought it doesn't really take me that long to deliberate based off of, someone that I meet and what they say. But I hated the fact that we had to elect Kenny. I mean, I understand it's designated our job, but that ward commissioner should represent the people that are in that ward. It shouldn't represent what I think. So I would like to give the people of that ward an opportunity to reach out.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm,
Again, how you make your selection is entirely up to you. The charter doesn't specify a special election. That's
mean,
really what we're asking.
yeah, I mean, we can have them come in on the 3rd or whenever you want to do it, whenever the council wants to do it, have them come in, whoever wants to put their name in the bucket, let Kim know ahead of time or Brian know ahead of a time,
Yeah.
and I think I think something you might do is we make sure we get that. I don't know how you would do it, but we need to get his ward posted because a lot of people doesn't know what ward they live in or where the boundary lines are. That way we just don't have nobody to sign up that don't live in that ward and then they show up. But if you want to have, I mean, I don't know, public comment or, for that ward or, I mean,
Absolutely.
that's up, however y'all want to do it.
Get the mix, let them do it today.
We want to do
That's the rest of us.
people.
So,
Or if nothing else, just an opportunity for them. I mean, our emails are out there. I've shared my phone number with countless people and I've gotten contact.
We need
from
to, I
people
think
that
we probably
way,
need to
so-
get that to Kim somehow, just so for the confirmation that they do live in that ward. and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff.
Usually list them by name on the agenda.
Okay.
Who wants to-
put the name in there.
Yeah,
So,
she's got to create the
I
agenda.
mean,
for
I
that.
guess
And if
just-
I'm not mistaken, it's basically if you're north of Redwood and east of 59, you're eligible. I mean, that's roughly where Ward 1 is, I
Is
think.
it 59 or 17? I think it's 17, isn't it? Yeah.
17?
Yeah.
17.
Yeah. So it's 7.
There's
yeah.
a little zigzagging in there. but-
Yeah.
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 I think there's some on this side of Choctaw or Cherokee also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the map's
Yeah.
posted online.
Yeah. So I would just, if you're interested, just make sure you live in that ward,
Yeah.
get with Kim or Brian and
You
make
think
sure.
we need to do it before a week out?
I don't know. I was just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
'Cause that's only 3 weeks from today.
Yeah, I guess.
And I just said that, I said the Monday before, that'd give us.
The
we
Monday
have it on
before.
Monday.
I'll take that. The Monday
So that-
before, yeah.
So that would be
Yeah.
August
Gentlemen,
3rd.
Yeah.
The Monday before is the
Yeah.
3rd, with the
Yeah.
next council meeting being on the 10th.
Or
of
anytime
August.
that week, yeah.
Sounds great.
All right, yeah.
So we'll hold, so just to capture everything, we will hold a special meeting on the 3rd. All interested parties, after submitting prior to the 3rd, submitting information to Kim or myself, announcing themselves as candidates or interested at least in the seat. Then that night, we will have each interested individual speak. And then what I'm hearing is an open forum or not necessarily an open mic, not an open forum, sorry. Public comment on the decision. Not on the decision, excuse me, public comment on the candidates or the nominees.
That's a tough one.
Was that, were you
Is that
wanting
what
to
you're
do
wanting,
that,
Brad?
Brad? Is that what you were saying? or-
Well, that
that-
one, that's a rough pill.
That gives a week for people to contact us and,
Yeah, that was more the avenue that I was pursuing. It
Okay.
gives them the opportunity to reach out and say, I don't like so-and-so, or so-and-so helped me and I think you'd be a fantastic, he or she, whatever the case may be.
So a special meeting on the 3rd with interested individuals, nominees, interested individuals, providing you all a pitch, a short presentation on why they should be selected. And then that's it. The public
Yep.
comment, quote unquote, public comment would come from the public to you all in that in that week in between.
that week between,
And then we'll
yeah.
vote on, you all will vote on the 10th as you feel led.
Pre-qualified.
We will pre-qualify them and let them know if they're not qualified to run. So for instance, if they've
Wrong ward.
the wrong ward, then they won't be allowed to speak that night. We'll notify them and say, hey, thank you for your interest, but you're not in Ward 1.
Yeah.
I like it.
We'll also screen them against the other criteria as laid out in the charter to be eligible to be on council. Live in the ward. There's several items.
You have to live in your ward 1 year prior, I mean, to be
Yeah.
elected as an official, but does that also go with being appointed?
My
I mean,
recommendation
how is
would
that?
use the same criteria, but
I mean, I
Yeah.
just make sure on that one too, because I think from the way I read the city charter, it doesn't specify
we
to be
can,
appointed.
we'll consult with Jordan prior to telling somebody that they're not eligible. So Jordan,
Yeah.
we'll get you that list and any concerns that we may have just from a staff point of view, to you well in advance.
All right.
So you need a.
So we
motion
do
on-
need a motion for the special meeting,
We need a resignation first, right?
oh, yeah, we do. Yeah. Thanks.
I'll make a motion, we accept Kenny Moody's resignation.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Mendiola and seconded by Mr. Bailey to accept the resignation of Kenny Moody.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Hager.
Yes,
And what time do we want the meeting for the 3rd? Do we want to do it on the 3rd? Is that good?
that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. What
6
time?
o'clock,
6?
just standard. That's when our normal standards are. We're
Okay.
not gonna, yeah.
That's fine by me.
You need a motion for that, Kim?
Yep.
I make a motion for a special meeting on the 3rd to be presented with possible candidates.
A second.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Bailey and seconded by Commissioner Hamilton to have a special meeting on August 3rd at 6 PM to do public interviews, I guess.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Hager.
Yes.
Do we want to set, or do we think we need to set a time? Hey, here's the cutoff to have your I'm going to use it in quotes, applications in.
I mean, I'd be fine with 5 minutes because I think majority of the people,
So we need,
Well, yeah, I have to post the agenda 48 hours, at least 48 hours.
so that would
So
be
we
the
need to
Thursday,
know-
that'd be the 30th.
Yes.
Thursday, the
I need to
30th,
know
So
by
the-
29th
29th, Wednesday, the 29th,
at by 3.
3
Yeah.
o'clock.
That'll give us time to screen just again, give Jordan time to review the list as well.
I
And
think the
then,
majority of the people know
and then
that
publish the list.
you're gonna hear in the next week whether they're interested or not.
Yeah.
But as far as giving them time to speak, I mean, 3, 4, 5 minutes, I mean, I'm gonna guess you're gonna have half dozen, people come. That's, 30 minutes. So I think
We'll have some questions too, so it may
Yeah.
go a little longer than that, but. Okay.
Is that special meeting open to the public?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Move on to item 21, receive update on economic development and grant activities from Mr. Borman.
Well, thank you. This is the time of year that I thank you guys for allowing me to serve one more year as your economic development director. I get some eye rolls, but I'm just telling you, if you ever get down about what you're doing, if you ever feel like you're not making any progress, go drive around town, because this council's been responsible for literally tens of millions of dollars worth of development. And you guys over the last 7 or 8 years, and tens of millions. So the incentive package that this council approved here a few months ago is leading to generating more leads for commercial developments. The hotel group we're still talking with them. Bell's has applied for their permit anyway to go beside Ollie's. The ODVA continues to ramp up. My check with them today, they're up to 52 residents. So that's already injecting over $3 million worth of payroll into this economy every year. So, that's basically almost a third of what they're going to house. And, we'll have over $12 million of payroll injected in the community once it's at full ramp up. So, you guys hear me say all the time, economic development is a team sport. It doesn't exist unless we all work together. That's us, the Cherokee Nation, the SIC, the Chamber of Commerce, and we've done that historically well, and I would just encourage you to keep doing that. Millicent has had some positive talks with some American manufacturers with promising leads. They're still at about 80 employees or so, but they are hitting the trails hard, and I believe they're on the right track to produce some products for an American manufacturer, and I'll be excited to have them maybe present at some point when they'll get those contracts underway, maybe have them come and talk to you guys and talk about what they're doing over there. Amazing things, amazing technology. We just got to keep them on the right tracks. We're working on an MOU. We're working on a RFP to work on getting some direction for some infrastructure needs. We'll bring that back to you soon, so you can so we'll engage and find out exactly where we're going for infrastructure such as electricity and what we'll need to have in the future. So Main Street, that's another group I'd like to have come present. They're doing some awesome work for beautification. They've got some awesome plans in the wings, and I think they're going to do some really, really neat things for downtown. They got some great concepts going on. They've been in talks with Mr. Larry Crow, and I think they're going to do a partnership with him and really have some beautification projects that I think this group would be interested in. So Southsaw now has applied for 3 grants through their consultant to continue their program. OK Tap grant, you guys are aware that we applied for a sidewalk project earlier this past year. We're still held up on federal funding. We're not sure when that'll come through. I'm anticipating possibly at the first of the federal fiscal year, which will be October. The Land Water Conservation Fund project for the soccer fields, we're still in a holding pattern with that as well. We absolutely, have been pressing them to try to get something done, but they're held up on the federal end. We're essentially waiting on a go ahead from the federal side. And once that happens, we'll kick that project off. Once again, I think that'll happen probably by all indications sometime in October, like October 1st. So Keep Oklahoma Beautiful grant, we've applied for that to paint some structures at Brushy Lake. Cherokee Nation Healthy Incentive Grant for the Brushy bathrooms, we're working on that project now. We've had that money for a little over a year, and we're going to try to get that rolled out within the next 6 to 8 months. So we'll be looking for that. We're going to look at applying for the Oklahoma Safe Grant for the Oklahoma Attorney General. And throughout this upcoming year, I would anticipate we'll probably be looking at applying for some CDBG funding, possibly an EDA grant or OWRB grant. Also, this week, we've got a meeting with the EODD Director, Scott Harding. He's going to go over some funding opportunities, potential funding opportunities to put a new roof on the senior center, which is needed. And so, and some other projects. So we may look at partnering with them a little bit to try to get some more grant projects going. So other than that, if you got any questions. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Item 22, receive update on current and future projects.
If you haven't driven by, your skate park is underway. It's about 25% complete. They are constantly tying rebar and moving things along. If everything goes well, they're trying to get the more difficult aspects of the ramps and everything done first. Then they'll go into the flat work, which is the easier, more the faster portions of the skate park. And if weather permitting stays well, you're looking at the next month, you'll see a significant increase in the size of what your skate park's going to look like, and get a better idea of how much of the ground it's actually going to take up. So hopefully in the next few weeks, you'll start really seeing that. We have set some new dates for the second phase of the MI meter. I'm sure Mr. Heverly will touch bases on this too as well. We're looking at a new startup date of August 3rd to do that, and it'll run through November 6th. So right now we're doing some inventory items so that we know where we're at in the project when it comes to meters, but we'll work that out with PMI and our supplier, because there'll be some things that we do fall short on, but we'll stay ahead and on top of it. Future projects, we're working with Aviagen on a future project. They're looking at putting in their own egg storage and distribution center. So we're working with their architects on that, and hopefully we'll have that in order in the next month or so. We have kicked off the other egg producer in town. We have been in contact with their engineers, and they're working on their what's called their MEP, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing aspects of the site. We do have construction plans for their building and for their footing, so we're moving forward step by step. We're going to go ahead and allow them to get that building kicked off. They'll bring us our MEP, and then we'll go into the next phase of their construction. So those future projects are going to kick off, and you should see them coming out of the ground probably within the next month. Any other questions? I'll be glad to answer them for you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 23, receives updates on the financial status of the city and activities of the finance department.
Thank you. I don't have anything but sales tax to bring before you tonight. So the sales tax for June was $673,000. That was a decrease from last June of $27,000. The use tax for June was $78,000, which also was a decrease from the last June of $27,000. So the finance staff is continuing to work on closing out the year, closing out the month of June as well. That's why I really don't have any numbers for June for you yet. We leave that period open for a couple more weeks, and then we'll soft close it, and then the auditors will come in and start doing their work and give us the entries to make, and then they'll present to you when they have the audit done. But as of now, that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
All right, thanks. And item 24, administrative reports.
Okay, upcoming events. We just added one on the 3rd. Will there be a special meeting? Yes, a special public meeting open to the public on the 3rd. The 10th is our next regularly scheduled meeting. There's a change. We sat down and had a pool meeting with staff this morning. The last full week the pool will be open is the 27th through the 2nd of August. It'll be open weekends through Labor Day so far. Pending availability of staff, our plan right now is to be open through Labor Day on the weekends with the pool. As far as reports, we're drafting a distributed generation policy to allow residential solar primarily. Wind and biomass would also be included in this, but with wind, we've got to do some zoning. We got to look at some zoning issues as far as height of windmills, et cetera. We'll have a recommendation on a customer portal for utilities in August with an implementation timeline of a couple months to follow, meeting the goal for this fall that we set earlier this spring. And what that is and why we're waiting until August is, bottom line is, we got our last estimate since the agenda was published. So we'll bring that to you next month. We're working on a transition plan for our online portal payment that will switch from Express Bill Pay to Cassell. You'll be able to pay online your utility bills directly to Cassell. Right now, we use Express Bill Pay. That is coming. We don't have a timeline yet, but there will be ample opportunity where both are available as we work through a transition plan. We talked about the CMP and more to come as far as the action plan on that. City projects, the soccer fields. Again, George mentioned it. We're looking to have an answer from the National Park Service sometime in October, which means we'll be breaking ground over the fall, late fall, early winter, and with the intent of having those things sodded in the spring. What that means is those fields will not be playable in the spring of 28. 27. It'll be the fall of 27, or at least over the summer in 27 before we can actually start playing on those fields, unfortunately. And again, just like George said, we are waiting on the National Park Service right now to give final approval for an amount of money that we need to match the money that we already have put up for the cost of the project. The water treatment basin liner will begin shortly. The pump out at Brushy was repaired about a week and a half ago. The water level has been reduced. The contractors actually started moving some equipment on site, so we should start seeing dirt work start soon. The pool overall has been a great season so far. We've had more pool parties planned and scheduled than we've ever had at the old pool. We've learned a lot of lessons this year. We're instituting the ones that we can as we go. For instance, if you haven't been out there today, chairs, lounge chairs and chairs have been added over the weekend. I believe it was Friday. Those showed up. Was it Friday? Friday those showed up. So those are out there. That's an example of things that we're learning as we go. We're implementing as we can. We know we've heard the availability issues, and we are working through that next year as we look to hire, as we look to train. We're taking all of those comments and we're applying those. But again, some of those changes are going to have to wait until next year as we go through those. Diamond Net, the changes are out for residential use. So if you've seen the newspaper last week, the new prices, the new tiers are out there. We upgraded everyone that was on the old 100 megabyte speed to 250 for free. We've kept the price points where they were for the 500 megabyte plan, for the 250 megabyte plan, for the gig plan. And then we've added a 2.5 gig plan. So we are faster than any of our competitors that only offer gig speeds. So check those out. There's also additional items, mesh network, indoor and outdoor for the 2.5 gig speeds. There's software packages that are available on those speeds, and more of those to come as our Calix fields those. If you have questions, our CSRs are ready and willing to talk to you, talk you through those plans, determine what's best for your needs. And we are working on the commercial plans. We just had to split those up to get the residential plans out. Instead of waiting for everything, we got half and half. So we'll have the commercial plans out here probably in a month or two. We'll have those out and ready. For those of you who've driven down, not on the sheet, I apologize, but those of you who've driven down Cherokee, you've seen numbers on the side of the bridge, the overpass, that's depth. Those are depth numbers. So if water is up to the 2, that means it's 2 foot of water at the deepest part in that thing. If it's up to 6, I wouldn't drive through it if I were you. Maybe if you've got a lifted Jeep with a snorkel on it, maybe. But again, those are depth charts to help out folks as we get into as we continue through the stormy season. AMI, you got the dates from Keith. Just a reminder, bottom line is when this phase is done, about a third of the water meters will have been replaced, and most, but not all, of the electric meters will have been replaced. So we do still have a little bit of cleanup to do on the electric meters, mostly on the commercial side, getting our hands on some of the bigger meters. And then the crew that's coming in is going to focus on the remaining water meters. But again, at the end state, only a third of our water meters will have been replaced. That was what we talked about during budget, and we've got a plan, and well, we're working on a plan to get those other 2/3 done, and completed. Gentlemen, pending your questions.
So the customer portal for utilities, that's where they can go, we'll be able to see their usage.
See their usage. They'll
Customers
be able
will.
to set alarms, notifications. Again, those will all be, they'll be able to see what we see in census.
Okay.
So that directly imports that information to that portal, and they'll be able to see that.
And then I've had a couple people ask me about Brushy Lake, the internet, I guess when it's filled. We have
So
issues.
we are working on that.
Okay.
We're looking at a Starlink option, as well as we would subscribe to Cooks and Hills. That's at the top of the hill, and we would run our fiber down and run it off of that. But it's just a matter of seeing which one's cheaper to do basically a commercial account with Cookson or going through Starlink.
Okay. Don't think I had.
All right. Thank you very much.
John.
Move on to item 25, possible action to convene an executive session for the purpose of conducting an evaluation of the performance of the city manager as authorized by Title 25, subsection 307B1. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I think it's recommended
Oh.
as well.
There you go.
That'd be my recommendation.
All right, there we go. So we don't need a motion. We can recommend it? All right, there we
No,
go.
I need a motion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We need to do a motion.
Oh, we do a motion anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
but you gotta ask Jordan.
You gotta ask the attorney first. So do we have a motion to,
I make a motion to review.
all right, motion made by Commissioner Bailey, seconded by
I'll make a second.
Commissioner Mendiola.
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
April.
Yes. All right, we need a motion to reconvene back into regular session.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Mendiola,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bailey.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. Item 27, possible action regarding the performance evaluation of the city manager in accordance with the employment agreement.
I make a motion to proceed forward with what we discussed in executive session.
To accept the performance evaluation and
Accept
the
the performance evaluation, yes.
motion made by Commissioner Bailey to accept the performance evaluation discussed in executive session,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Hamilton.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. And item 28's adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Hamilton, seconded by Commissioner Bailey.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. We will now call the Salisaw Municipal Authority regular meeting to order and declare we have a quorum. And item 3 is consider the approval of the minutes from the June 8th, 2026 meeting.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Hamilton, seconded by Commissioner Mendiola.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Able.
Yes. And item 4 is to hear a discussion from Mr. Dwayne Sanders regarding public access to the fields at the sport complex by entities other than the Youth League. Howdy. Hello.
Thank you for giving me your time this evening. I've started a group of kids and parents together to play some sports because South Charlotte Youth League doesn't offer any type of summertime programs for soccer. That is, baseball and softball there is, but soccer there's not. I asked permission from the soccer director for us to be able to use the fields to practice and play on. And I received permission in text message format. And so we began practicing, and on 6/18, we were out practicing approximately 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. There was also a baseball event going on, and the baseball director, I believe, he never really announced who he was, came over on their utility vehicle and asked us to leave. And it was a little confusing because we had spoken to the soccer director for usage of the fields, and we weren't anywhere near the baseball areas whatsoever. And the reason for asking us to leave was that, quote, he owned the complex, and our vehicles parked outside the back gates there next to the train tracks on that back entrance were causing people to get into his baseball games for free. It's very confusing. I don't know how that could happen, especially since you could just move any type of a gate down by the field house area there and funnel people into the baseball fields that they were using right there to control access. I asked him for some time to just finish practice since we were trying to use the fields from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. It was approximately 6:20. And so we completed our practices. By that time, the police actually showed up. They determined that it was a civil matter. They were under the understanding that the youth league owned the fields. It was not actually public grounds. The youth league owned the fields, direct from Lieutenant Martin's. And so they ended up leaving. It was a little alarming because even before we left, the baseball personnel actually had decided to gate off the main entrance. I've got some pictures. Can I give these to you guys? They stretched some orange construction material across the front gates, and as an attempt to keep people from re-entering, we were actually still out there. Some of the parents actually did park down the paved areas. And so to get out, they actually had to tear it down, only for the baseball folks to come in and put the material back up. So it was a little alarming. They did make some comments to accuse that some of us were parking on the fields, and I checked around with the other parents, and nobody had actually parked on the soccer fields where we were at. Only my vehicle was out there because I had to carry about a bunch of gear with me because I was running the whole practice, soccer balls and some uniforms we were trying on for folks and whatnot. It was actually all the baseball folks that were parked on the fields. They're up on our soccer fields. So we actually moved up onto the larger U12 field, away from the baseball folks, so our balls wouldn't hit them. We had several people out there, approximately 40, and so a lot of bottles flying around. So we didn't want to dent any cars or anything, only to be asked to leave. So I was just wondering how they had the authority to ask us to leave, and I asked for the agreement, the operational agreement between the Youth League and South Salem Municipal Authority to outline that. So I've read through it, and it does state that we have to have permission. However, I've navigated the city website, and there's nothing on there about soccer whatsoever. There is a link that goes to a website that does not work. I don't know if you guys can access that here today or not, but under the complex, there is several links for baseball. There's a drone flyover for YouTube. It only addresses baseball. There's nothing about soccer whatsoever. There is a Blue Sombrero website that most people that, if they do know about it, can find it through a Google search, but it's not on the city website whatsoever. So you just kind of have to know by word of mouth. That there's nothing that outlines how we ask permission to use the fields at all. So I'm a big rule follower, so I'll make sure to ask permission. Like I said, I got a confirmation from the soccer director for years. I've coached soccer for about 6 years, so I know Ryan quite well. And so it's a little disturbing on top of the pictures that you see before you. They actually told me that they were going to vote to have us not be able to use the fields at all, ever again. I'm not sure why. They didn't have an explanation for it. So I guess the outcome here today would be to possibly have a meeting. There should be outlined in this document, says we're supposed to have a meeting between the South Salem Municipal Authority and the Youth League before August 1st of each year. And so I would like to attend that to kind of hash out some details of the things that I could not find on the city's website, to address how to ask permission and what kind of manner, to be able to move forward to iron out some of these processes and to let all citizens use that field and not just certain demographics.
Everything you said made complete sense to me.
Also, guys, I've attempted to send some emails. Is there a Mr. Walters here? Les, is that the person who is over is he the site director that I read?
He's the Parks Director, Parks and Rec Director.
Okay, I've sent some emails, but they're not getting through. I get some kind of a reply back that the emails aren't able to be processed through. I've sent 2 different ones with the same pictures, and these are pictures of the soccer fields in the spring season, and it was a little alarming because it was pretty rainy this year. And so when the fields dry up, the field didn't have enough grass on it, and so it becomes very abrasive. And so when my goalies were hitting the ground, some of my players are here today, my kids and their best friend. My goalie's here, he's been scraped up several times. So I sent emails to try to figure out the process of getting that. I also brought it up through the Youth League many times and to be ignored. And so those are some of the things we need to work out in the meeting that I'm requesting.
So I guess once you go through the main front gate, there's nothing that blocks the sidewalk from the soccer field, is there? It's just an open access.
So going through the
way
front gate, the
yeah.
sidewalks go to the baseball fields. There's
Right.
no access whatsoever to climb the hill. So from my understanding, in disagreement as well, we're supposed to be able to join some type of association if it's available. And we're not able to join those associations because our soccer fields don't meet things like the ADA requirements, American with Disabilities Act. I think we have some processes in place to build soccer fields and so on and so forth. And thank you guys for addressing those things. But as of now, we can't even do those things. We can't join those associations because they don't meet that. And in the meantime, I've been here since, oh gosh, I retired from the Army in 2020. So in the past 6 years, I've coached my kids there. My mom can't even come out to some of the games because she's so disabled with her feet. She can't get up them hills. And so the only access is that back gate to be able to walk onto the fields. And it's not maintained over the past few years. It's very pitty and washed out and whatnot. This past year or so, I think they put some sand back there, which is a little bit smoother. But even for people disabled, elderly grandparents and things, they can't access their soccer fields to even go out and see their kids. And so that's some more issues that we can address if we got a meeting with the folks involved with SMA, SOL, and other people like myself that would like to use those fields outside of their regular seasons.
Who's over soccer out there?
So yeah,
Who's over soccer out there?
it's Ryan Hildendorf.
Ryan.
And this has been brought up many times through several different coaches and things.
Okay.
There are other things in here that I've got notes that outline that were not really being followed in this agreement that we need to address for safety and otherwise. But I'd like to do that in a professional manner. Do we know when that meeting is going to be, guys?
So a meeting with them, I have a
Mhm.
meeting sometime this month. I haven't set the meeting yet.
Okay.
It'll be during their normal board meeting,
Okay.
to address the operations agreement that you have.
Okay.
At the risk of jumping forward to the next item, that is an agreement. They do have exclusive use. The youth league has exclusive use under the current agreement of all the ball fields out there. So, you know, a lot of the maintenance that you're talking about, those pictures, that's not the city's responsibility. Infrastructure would be, so if the lights are out, things like that, if the concession stand doesn't have power, that's us. General maintenance of the fields is us, but if they're dry, if there's not enough grass out there, we handle that in between seasons, but the youth league is expected, to reinvest into the fields themselves.
Could I draw your attention? I don't know if you have access to
I
the
don't have it in
document,
front of me,
sir.
no,
Section 2, responsibilities of the Sallisaw Municipal Authority. A, item I, provide, this is for the SMA shall provide general maintenance and upkeep of the sports complex facility, including mowing, trimming, watering, fertilizing of grass areas, cutting the dirt and grass lines, preventing growth of grass in infields. This is talking about baseball fields, man. There's not a whole lot in soccer in here whatsoever, but it does include fertilizing grass.
Yes, sir. So that a lot of that is handled off seasons.
Mhm.
And that is, I'd have to get with Les for exactly what the schedule is. But a lot of that is not done during the seasons.
Who put the goals up out there? I mean, there's a
The
lot
youth
of,
league.
I see a lot of goals, so
The youth league.
youth league put those up?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, they're maintained out there. In between seasons, they get moved down towards the field houses, but if anybody goes up to use them, even just random people that want to go out there at different times, they just drag them up and use them.
They move
Use
the
'em.
goals, they paint the fields.
Yeah, we
They
paint
line
the
'em.
fields. I used to paint the fields out there for them. And so, grass seeding and whatnot, I've always been told this from the city, and Ryan always tells me he's asked for it, and we've really never gotten it. And that those spots in the field have been like that for several years, and they've gotten worse and worse and worse. And so, it's a broken brown system that needs some attention for sure.
So can we make sure, figure out the email issue?
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at what email address you're using, sir.
Okay.
Do you
Sure.
have that paper that he emailed?
Yeah, it's on the top of that
What-
form
what's
there. That's a direct printout of the email and the address that I
What'd you
sent
say,
to.
Kim?
L. Walters. Yeah, I don't know. So I've never had an email get kicked back. I've had it get caught in our proof point.
Yeah, and it's happened a couple
So-
times in the past, and I even
Never
sent
had
an
any
email to
kickback.
Mr. Ernie Martins in the past just to test it out, and he did reply back one time on a previous email. It did kick back, so I don't know if it's some kind of security issue or whatnot. I got a background in IT, but it'd have to be a conversation with the IT guys to figure out
No,
what's
sir,
maybe
I'll
going
have
on.
I'll have to look at, I need to double check and make sure is that Les's? I mean, there's onesies and twosies that have weird addresses. Robin at Salisaw.
Right, yeah. I
But
understand. I get you, yeah.
I mean, there's just, yeah. So
Yeah, so it's just a barrier. So because
Yeah,
if people work, I work. I got a
That I
very
should be
intensive
able to
job.
figure
I'm a biomedical engineer, so my time's taken up during the day. So if I got to fire off an email, if the email doesn't work, we need to address that.
nope, that's the email address that I have that I use. But again, like you said, I'm emailing from inside the firewall. So
Right. So is it possible to attend that meeting?
I have to ask them. It's not, so the Salisaw Youth League is not a city organization. They're a private organization. So I can't tell them how to do things. And that's a lot of what they do and how they do it. That's their prerogative. And that is, they prioritize things differently than maybe you would, maybe I would. But as long as they have exclusive use of the fields, then that's their prerogative and how they prioritize investment, how they prioritize reinvestment, et cetera, et cetera. How they run their board meetings, I don't have any say in it. I can absolutely ask Ms. Jones if she would she would invite you or allow you to speak at the next meeting. But yeah, I can bring you along, or ask her if I can bring you along. I know I don't mean to sound that pejoratively, but hey, I'm coming to the meeting. I normally don't come to these meetings because I'm interested. Can I bring a guest in the form of Mr. Sanders?
Sure. Okay.
Sure.
Hey, will you put your name and number right here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, see.
I have in the past drug one of you with me, so if you would like to come too.
That's fine. I just want to make sure that public, parks are available.
Thanks, buddy.
I appreciate you coming, and I completely understand what you're saying. So, you know, the control that we do have is that they have another operating agreement coming up.
Yes, sir.
So,
And I've taken the liberty to make notes on line by line what the things are that I need to bring up, and I can forward them to you even if I'm not able to attend for whatever reason. Hopefully, being a public entity, it wouldn't be a problem. It'd be kind of raising a little concern if they wouldn't let us, the community, be involved with access to the fields, especially being city-owned property.
yeah, I'll be interested to see what they say.
Yes,
too.
sir. Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, move on to item 5, discussion of possible direction to staff regarding revisions to the South South Sports Complex Operations Agreement, which currently expires on August 11th.
So gentlemen, I did speak with Ms. Jones this morning. She is tracking the requirement to meet prior to that meeting in August. Excuse me. Like Mr. Sanders alluded to, is in the current operations agreement. So what I would like from you all is if there's any changes to the youth league agreement, operations agreement that you all have, you all provide that input now. And I will take that forward with me to their meeting to say, hey, look, here's what we need to change or not change. And then if there's friction, then that can be discussed next meeting. But the intent would be to sign the renegotiated annual operations agreement with them at the next meeting.
I'll just say I'd like to see this get resolved. I don't like the pictures where I see cars parked on the soccer field. That's pretty ridiculous.
Agreed. And just, I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, for your edification, and sir, just when this came to me, because I got it on Saturday, on Monday morning, I approached the youth league and I say, hey, you know, how you run your operations is up to you, but those fields are not parking lots. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. We've put a water barrier up there now because people are driving onto those fields. And even if they are permitted to, hey, it's our officials that are parking up next to the fence, so they don't have to walk very far. Okay, they're officials, they need to be able to walk. But secondly, how do you get to those positions without driving across the soccer fields? So, and here it's obvious they're parking on the fields, and that's not okay. Those are soccer fields. It is not the intent for those to be parking lots. We specifically blocked it off for the fireworks celebration. And that was my comment to her. She agreed with that notion that those soccer fields are not parking lots, especially until we get the new fields built. Hey, we don't need to dump a whole heck of it. We don't want to have to dump significant money into those fields once we're done playing soccer on them. If they're rutted up and gouged, because we use them as a parking lot.
there's obviously some insurance liability type stuff that the South South Youth League carries on that property. And, you know, that's something that's got to be considered too, but that's something that can be solved as well. Whether there's a fee that Forge Play, pays to tax it, something, there's got to be a way around that. So,
And that's kind of the alarming point when I asked why that we couldn't play. And almost verbatim was because we can say no. And we can vote no, and that's what they were going to do that very night, but say no because they could.
and you don't know who you talked to on that?
That was Mr. Ryan Hilton Northfield, the soccer director. He said when they want to vote, any way they want to vote, right, however they want to run it, that's what their prerogative. And they said that they can keep us off the fields if they want to. That was very alarming.
And again, the current operations agreement does
Right.
do that. It allows them exclusive, at least scheduling, for those fields. Yeah. But again, the thought process that we had last year, just remind you, is the youth league then is the front or the access point for those fields to use those fields. They maintain those fields. We gave them right of first refusal. If some other entity wants to come in and use it, then they have right of first refusal for the concession stands. They'd be able to charge those organizations, not for soccer, but for baseball and softball, field maintenance fees, because they would be the ones maintaining the fields. All of that would be coordinated through the youth league instead of through the Parks Department. And that was one of the key points, at least for me, of why we did it that way. So we would be coordinating with the youth league, the city would be, and not every other organization that would want to come in and use the fields.
Right.
Did we fill that parks director spot that's in?
So that's one of the individual, we're looking to hire that individual. I don't think we have a replacement for, his name. I don't think we've hired him yet, but that was the supervisor. That was a park supervisor that would be in charge of the sports complex, the pool, and the parks, where then the other supervisor would be in charge of the recreation spaces. So not the parks, but the pool and the sports complex would be one individual, and then another individual would be over the parks themselves and the green spaces for the city owns.
And their meeting's on Wednesdays, isn't it?
I don't remember, honestly. And I talked with Jennifer. She did not give me a time or a date for their board meeting this month. Sir?
Is that a position that's open that you were
It-
speaking of?
I've got to double check, sir. I honestly, it's filled. Okay. I know there was an individual in it, and then he left because the pool scared him. I'm being pejorative. The pool didn't scare him, but
Typically, the youth league meets the second Wednesday of the month.
so that's tomorrow. Okay.
Last week.
Second Wednesday was last weekend. My bad.
I'm in Kenny Moody's district there, or ward, interested in that one and this parks one as well. I have a business degree and a retired United States Army, so
Sweet.
I'm all game for helping all the youth that I can.
You said the second Wednesday. Oh, fudge. The first was a Wednesday. Never mind. Okay, my bad. Okay. Okay. There'll be a special one because we have to meet and she knows it. I
The
told her
parks
this morning.
job's paid, this one isn't. Just FYI, you know.
You can't do both. And you can't do both.
Well, you can't do both. That's true, yeah.
Hired behind him? I honestly can't remember. I don't think we did. Well, I'll have to double check on that. I am not entirely certain. I know Les has been doing it for.
All right,
Okay, sorry.
all right. So, item 5, that basically we're discussing this now. I mean, I don't really,
So last year, so big muscle movement.
I
So
think we want to see a little bit more cohesiveness and cooperation.
As do I.
I think that's what we're all
Okay.
kind of sitting here.
Well,
Um,
I have been more than vocal about my dislike of this agreement. I voted no for it last time we tried. There's got to be a level of accountability. We have to hold the youth league accountable for their shortcomings, accountable for the atrocious behavior that we're allowing them. We are allowing them to participate in this way on public funded property. This property does not belong to a group of individuals for the youth league. They belong to every single one of those kids, those coaches that volunteer their time and their effort. And if we just allow this exclusivity portion of this agreement to continue, then I don't understand how we can feasibly expect behavior different than allowing people to park on the soccer fields. That in itself should be very clear to anyone what the youth league thinks about that sports complex, because that's absurd behavior.
No, I,
Yeah.
I agree. And from an individual growing up playing soccer, I would look. So here's the crux. How do we tell a private organization what to do without telling them exactly what to do? I agree with you,
Private
sir.
organization
The-
that they have complete dictatorship over public funded property.
That's how we get to do what we
And whenever,
That's not all that uncommon though. Not that I'm saying I like it, but I don't think you also want every aspect of everything that goes on down there coming down here to City Hall. We're gonna have to hire multiple people just to handle that. It's just crazy.
And that was the
Absolute-
example given
so-
to us when we voted, the
Yeah.
beer league. We were
Yes,
given
absolutely.
worst case scenarios. We
Yeah.
never, soccer
but
don't
this is
play.
gonna carry
Right,
over to
yeah.
the new
But see,
fields.
so for soccer not playing, I would, from Brian Heverly's point of view, not the city manager's point of view, from Brian Heverly's point of view of seeing this is a problem with the youth league. The youth league allowed people to park on soccer fields.
Correct.
The youth league allowed that to happen. The city, now by extension, yes, the city allowed it to happen as well. But this is a youth league issue and how they prioritize a sport over other sports. So how do we do that through an operations agreement? How do we tell them to prioritize? And I'm hearing that's what we want to do is we want to force them to treat and to do and to honestly, and that may be it. That's how we do it as I'm talking through it, is we say, hey, look, there has to be equity. If you expect this, and this, or someone to follow this process to use a baseball field, that same process has got to be used for a soccer field. And calling up the director and saying, hey, can I play on it, isn't the process. I mean, we require, I mean, there's insurance and liability, like the mayor mentioned, there's all of those requirements as opposed to saying, oh yeah, you can practice. And then when that, and I'm just, look, I think a common person would look at this and say that director didn't call the other director who actually had an event that weekend and communicate to him what the agreement was. Again, that's an internal, how do we legislate that?
So that's gonna be difficult to tell a private entity, we don't really get to dictate that. But that is public land. So through sub items in the use agreement, we can dictate certain aspects of how that's treated. And there was an argument for, like you said, the beer league, and it's an absolute valid one. But the behavior being demonstrated by blocking stuff off like that now limits you from taking your kids out there just to play on the soccer fields. Like, they don't get to dictate that. And when the new fields get placed, then this problem is going to be, in my opinion, it'll be worse because there's brand new soccer fields.
I have a feeling the reason why, once they're brand new soccer fields, my guess is the Southside Youth League is gonna give that a little bit more respect. I don't think it has had any respect because they haven't gotten to that point where they've been maintained as well as they should, because everybody's waiting on Fed funds to get this actually fixed and done. They don't allow any Tom, Dick, and Harry to go play on any of the baseball fields either, right?
Not
Right.
the
You
ones
can't
at the
just-
sports complex.
Right,
no.
right, right.
No.
That's why the other ones still exist
Correct.
and everything. We just don't have the other, we don't have another soccer field that exists to my knowledge.
No.
But I
Um,
don't think unless you have parents on the youth league that are soccer parents,
Sure.
then it's not going to matter whether they're playing on dirt fields up in the back or you have a brand new field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be a priority. So,
Well, you know.
and if the
it-
soccer field's on the opposite side, then you may need to look at a different way.
surely there can be some constructive, good conversations had. I mean, that or they're gonna be competing, SYL Southside Youth League will be competing against Mr. Sanders Southside Youth and Recreation Corporation that puts a bid in to run the Southside Youth League program.
Which is
I
the
mean,
argument
that-
for
that
the
can-
exclusivity.
you know,
If
but
they're granted
He probably doesn't have
exclusivity,
any desire or interest to get involved a whole lot on baseball and softball. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, but there's gotta be a way around this. And hopefully everybody can sit down and talk about this, because if we don't, I'm not gonna vote for a renewal without some concrete stuff in that.
we have to
Um,
demonstrate that we're willing to hold them accountable for, like, I don't know what he's referencing on the sub items, but whether or not it's outlined that they're providing first year coaches training is arguable. Whether or not they have the CPR certified person that's out there for those events, who's verifying that that's legitimate and taken care of? And there was a couple other line items. We're not gonna get into that, but we have to demonstrate that we're willing to hold them accountable for these. No different than there's two sides to that coin. They should be able to depend on SMA for whatever responsibilities are outlined for us. Then we need to be held accountable and make sure that we're dotting our i's and crossing our t's as well.
I agree. I'm looking forward to see how this meeting goes.
Heard. Yes, sir. Gentlemen?
Do we really have a motion on anything there?
No, it was just that,
Okay.
that input that you provided, Mr. Sanders. I'll be in touch as soon as I figure out a time and,
Thank you very much.
yes, sir.
Item 6, discussion and possible action on Uptown Services Statement of Work. Number 25, an agreement to provide consulting services to the Southside Municipal Authority and authorize the general manager to sign. The general manager. to
That's
sign.
me. I'm the general
City
manager.
manager. You're the general manager.
General manager, that's me.
Oh, that's
Yes,
me.
sir.
Yeah, that's got a different wording.
Yes, sir. So this is a renewal with the Diamond Net Consultant. We had to change the statement of work a little bit since we got rid of cable, TV. This is the gentleman that helps us navigate the FCC requirements and regulations. We've also used him as we go through and do pricing on rolling out the new Diamond Net tiers. Helped us with pointing us in the right direction. And this is a renewal of that contract. How long is it for, Clint? I'm sorry, I didn't.
It's year to year.
It's yearly, annually?
He does all the voice, regulatory filings and, all of that we don't have the expertise in as
Yeah.
well.
Any questions or motions?
Make a motion, we approve the Uptown Service Statement of Work, number 25.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Mendiola, seconded
Second.
by Commissioner Bailey.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Yes. Item 7, discussion of possible actions to declare multiple Calix 854G optical network terminals as surplus and authorized to transfer to Logic Networks in exchange for an account credit in the amount of $23,100.
So these are brand new, still in the box sealed 854G optical ONTs. They are obsolete and are next to, if not completely worthless to us. This is technology that we're no longer using. This is actually what we're swapping out as we go into the new equipment. This individual has agreed to give us store credit basically for the amount that you see there. And we'd use that store credit to buy refurbished, help me out here, Clint,
The new units.
the new units that we're actually putting in. So I'm not gonna say the only other alternative is these things go in the garbage, but that was the plan.
Yeah, we did the last time buy on these several years ago because they have video functionality. We thought we were going to need them indefinitely, and so when we got rid of the video, then they kind of became not as useful to us.
Motions or questions?
I make a motion to declare Calix 854G optical network terminals as surplus, authorized transfer of logistic networks.
Second.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Bailey and seconded by Commissioner Hamilton.
Bailey,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Mendiola,
Yes.
Yes. Item 8, acknowledgement of SRS 2022 arbitrage rebate calculation and IRS payment in the amount of $103,471.02. This is a great example of how people think that money's not kept track of. The reason the reason we've got to give money to the IRS is because the skateboard and pool took a little bit too long to complete, and we earned too much interest while the money was sitting there idle. IRS doesn't allow cities to do that, so they're saying you've got to give us some of that interest back because the city's not allowed to earn that money on it. Pretty simple. But when people say we're using that money for something else, this is a great example of why we can't do that. It's watched over very closely. We can't even earn interest on it from sitting there, so. This has happened a couple of times before, I think,
Yes, sir.
over the years when we have bonds out there and it takes a little while to get the projects completed, but
We did this since I was here on the 21 or the 2020, on the 2020 bond. This is the,
It's being calculated again right
yeah. And this is the 22 bond, excuse me, for the skate park and aquatic center.
Any questions or motions?
Yeah, if you remember doing this last year, it's because we did.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge receipt of SRS 2022 arbitrage rebate calculations, the IRS payment in the amount of $103,471.02.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Bailey and seconded by Commissioner Hamilton.
Yes.
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 Yes, sorry. Motion to adjourn by somebody?
I make a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Bailey to adjourn, seconded by Commissioner Hamilton.
Beat you.
Yes.
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 Yes. And there are no Library Authority, Industrial Finance, or Economic Authority meetings due to lack of